From the Darien Ice Rink, it is FCIAC High School Hockey on the HAN Network. And a good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rob Adams. Welcome to the DIR as today the Greenwich Cardinals come in to take on the Darien Blue Wave. Frank Granito is ice side. John Kovach alongside of me here in the booth. AJ Simonowski and Eric Gendron just part of the crew on hand today for a Wednesday afternoon late matinee, and John, a game that was originally scheduled for Monday, but what it comes down to is this. The Greenwich Cardinals have a chance to take over the number one seed in the FCIAC. They come in with a record of 13-4, 7-1 in the conference, while Darien at 14-2, 8-0. I talked to the Cardinal goalie, Nick Bizzuto, before the game today, and he said to me, look, we've got to get pucks in the net. That's the bottom line. They need to find some confidence to beat this Blue Wave team.
This is a tough team to find confidence against. Tough defense, great goalie in Voigt. Going to be hard for them to break through. Team that won 9 straight before losing to Don Bosco out of New Jersey. Also a rested Darien team coming off a forfeit by Trinity Catholic. And
an interesting game against Don Bosco, because a game that really Don Bosco, the Iron Men, really took it to the Blue Wave. It was a fairly, I don't want to say a super convincing win. It wasn't a blowout, but I felt that, Don Bosco got the better of play that day.
I would like to have seen it by everything that I've seen. Don Bosco dominated that game. Yeah, it was a reasonable score. It wasn't out of hand, but still, there was no question who the better team was on the ice that day when Don Bosco topped Darien 5-2.
And for the Greenwich Cardinals, some tough losses of late, and they need to find the back of the net and get things going. And that's where we'll bring in Frank Granito, ice side. And Frank, first of all, welcome back. Happy to see you back with us. But really, if the Cardinals can play their game, I think we've got a good matchup today.
Well, we've talked about it a lot throughout the year, how Darien just mentally can wear you down. And right now they come in winners of 4 straight over Greenwich, including last year's state and FCIAC championship, as well as a 3-0 win earlier, or just at the end of the month of January there. So I think if you're Greenwich, you want to get the first goal in this game. How can you respond and set the tone early on and not allow this Darien team, who we still think right now might be the number one team in the state, to find their groove?
Frank, is this a game where Greenwich gets more out of winning it than Darien would? If Darien would, they're number one, they're supposed to. If Greenwich would, then they're spoken about as potentially a contender for number one at the end of the year.
What I think both teams have got to look at coming into this game, if you're Greenwich, if you can win this game, you've built the confidence to know that you can skate with Darien come the postseason. If you're Darien, they're the only undefeated team left in the FCIAC, and I was talking with a couple New Canaan players earlier looking forward to hoping to get another chance at Darien. This is a very tough league to beat teams 3 or even 4 times, with 5 teams out of the FCIAC in the Division I conference for states right now.
The Blue Wave lining up right down below us. 'Tis the time of year with the names on the back of the sweaters and that wave on the front, so they'll wear the white with the blue. Greenwich at the other end, the red, white, and black. We'll meet the Greenwich Cardinals as best as we can. This is not always my favorite for public address systems, so I'll kind of narrate it as Nick Bizzuto, the Cardinal goalie, skates out to the blue line. You'll watch Colin Kelly, the senior defenseman, skate out. He will be joined on that top defensive line at the point by Ben Prattley, another senior. And now the top line for the Greenwich Cardinals, coached by Bob Russell.
Left wing, senior, Casey Cunningham.
Casey Cunningham, of course, had the huge goal against Glastonbury last year to send them to the state championship in overtime.
Senior, Cal McKinney.
Cal McKinney will start on that top line as well.
And at right wing, freshman Matt Davey.
And Matt Davey, a freshman, starting on the top line for the Cardinals.
Good size for a freshman.
And now we will meet the Blue Wave.
Senior David Voigt.
David Voigt just kind of lingers out of his crease, has played very well this year.
On defense, number 2, junior Harry Congdon.
Here's Harry Congdon, the junior, skating out to the blue line.
On defense, senior Scott Voigt.
The senior Scott Voigt
Senior, Herbie Hazelton.
Here's Herbie Hazelton, who will start at the left wing on the top line for Mac Budd.
At center, Junior, Max Romine.
Max Romine will start at center on the top line, and that leaves just one.
And at right wing, Senior, Riley Mullen.
And there's Riley Mullen to round out the starters for both teams, Darien and Greenwich. We get ready for a good one here. We hope it's going to be a good one. Stick around. We'll drop the puck right after this. You're watching the FCIAC on the HAN Network.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Here at the Darien Sports Shop, we are very excited about our newly redesigned men's department. Gentlemen, if you're shopping for work, weekend, or wedding, we've got the latest styles and trends inside our spacious new department just for you. We have vast selections from Peter Millar, Vineyard Vines, Johnny O, Duckhead, Barber, and so much more. And you can even walk out of the store in the new Wolverine 1,000-mile men's boot. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut, or shop us online at dariensport.com.
You are watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back at the Darien Ice Rink, Rob Adams, John Kovac. I'm laughing because, it's not always any high school facility you go into is not always the most folks are volunteering to run music and all that stuff. So the national anthem started playing again, and you couldn't resist.
Well, no, you're supposed to.
I know.
I'm simply following the code.
I know. I follow the code as well, but I also have to talk as broadcaster here.
There are 4 verses to the song, so it could have been the second one.
Very true, Frank. All right. Cardinals down at their end of the ice. At the top end, of course, this the top to bottom view, as always, and we've told you about it a number of times. Unless you're new to us, then you don't know the drill. The Darien Ice Rink is a top to bottom view from a broadcasting perspective. Do we love it? No, but we love being able to bring you the game, and that's the bottom line.
And this is going to be a good one. I really have a feeling. I'm a little disappointed this was snowed out Monday when the schools were closed. I think you would have had an atmosphere like at a Darien, New Canaan, or some of these other big games that we've seen here. I think you've lost a little bit of crowd here. Hopefully they're tuning in to watch us.
That's what we hope for.
And John, you mentioned a Darien, New Canaan kind of vibe. This rivalry is starting to develop as one of, if not the premier rivalry in Division I hockey right now.
It has been, with New Canaan having slipped down a little bit. These two are playing for the top of the mountain.
Roline and Cunningham for the opening face-off, and away we go from the DRI, you know what I'm saying, DIR. I told you I was hungry. I got food finally. And away we go into the Greenwich zone. Played at the point by Mullen and shifted back the other way into the Blue Wave zone. Down the right side it goes. This will trickle down into the right corner. Cunningham will skate down to grab it there. These are two teams that we are pretty familiar with as well. As alluded to, as it's thrown on net and Voigt leaves it behind, he sweeps it off into the right corner. We mentioned, of course, FCIAC championship game last year, and then Eric Gendron and I watched a 1-0 mind blower in the Ingalls rink as this is shoveled on net and Voigt holds on. Just 41 seconds gone by, no score.
And immediately Greenwich looks for the break. They get the turnover inside their own blue line and automatically look for the rush, tap it up ahead, and they're starting to just kind of get any puck they can at Voigt.
Dunham and Glassmeyer for the draw to the right side of David Voigt, and we are underway in a scoreless game. Sam Knowlton sends it out of the zone. It'll bounce down across the Greenwich line, worked over into the slot, now into the right corner. Corralled over there by Jake Kirby, one of the captains for Mac Budd. Mac Budd, of course, in his first year as head coach, of course, was around the program as an assistant for many years, but taking over for Chris Gerwig and, of course, the job they did last year in winning all the hardware, the first state championship in Division I since 1969. To the left wing side it goes in the Greenwich zone. Nick Bizzuto standing in net, a senior, down into the left corner now in that Greenwich zone, and they'll play it back out to center. It'll roll down into the Blue Wave end. Knowlton will grab it in the circle, feed it across to Hazelton, and Hunter Hazelton whistles it back out to center. Owen Collins plays it ahead. I'm telling you, the names on the backs of the sweaters, I know I'm a Yankees fan, I get it. I prefer to not see the names, but as a broadcaster, oh, do they come in so useful. Here's an icing stopping us. 13:18 to go, period number 1.
They are indeed helpful.
But I do get, Frank and I have had that discussion, and I understand where he's coming from on that topic. Face-off will come to the left side of Bizzuto. A little bit of a different Cardinal sweater now in that red with the white piping and the black number on the back. They have shifted the sweaters around a little bit over the years. Thrown down on net, it'll go over into the left circle and played back out by the Cardinals, grabbed by Owen Johnson, the junior, to play it to center. In a scoreless game, we're down to 13:05 to go in the first period. To the right wing side, Scott Voigt plays it back into the neutral zone. Blue Wave will corral it, take it into their own zone. Little touch pass by Congdon. Goes off the boards, almost a how you doing to Frank right over the boards. A window over, but always nice when everyone stops to say hello. As Hazelton sends it down the left wing side. That's Max DeBaradinas, I beg your pardon. In a scoreless game with 2:40 gone in period number 1. Coming back out into the neutral zone, spinning around, it's the Blue Wave to send it down on net. Martins plays it behind the net. Now the Cardinals take it off to the left wing side. Held in at the left point and out to center. Scott Voigt again will whistle it down into the right corner. Scoreless game. First period. And for us, our last regular season broadcast of the year, believe it or not, in the winter season. Of course, we're putting the spring schedule together, and a lot of it is already done, and we'll be publishing it very soon. It's going to come out a little bit differently going forward. We'll give you kind of chunks at a time and give you an idea, and that way we're not necessarily flexing and making changes. We'll be able to make kind of handle it a little differently. It'll pinball around into the Blue Wave zone. Cardinals really haven't put a whole lot of pressure on early on, but they played along the left wing. Matt Davey, the freshman there, now played back out to center. Spun around, knocked down into the boards goes Connor McCarthy, the sophomore, and a penalty coming here with 3.5 gone in period number 1. So our first penalty of the afternoon. Frank, who's keeping you company?
It's going to be Matt Davey. He's going to go for interference with 11:31 to go. Real physical start to the game from Greenwich here. We even saw Coach Bud answer. He threw the 4th line out pretty early on. They had a decent shift holding possession in the zone. But let's see how the Cardinals respond now to the high-powered power play of the Blue Wave.
And this is a tough opportunity for the Cardinals. The Blue Wave, of course, will take advantage. Romine in the left circle. Now Knowlton at the left point. Played down on net and pushed aside. The backhander's out in front. They'll play it into the slot. Bottom of the left circle, Kirby waiting there. Now they'll play it along the left wing boards. Looks like Riley Mullen at the left point. There's Knowlton, backhanded across. Little dipsy doodle on net, and they play it back behind, but it was Hazelton there. Off into the corner it goes. Now to the right point. Held on there by Knowlton. Sent down off to the side of the right circle, but held in by the Blue Wave. Knowlton at the left point and cleared back out by Greenwich.
And Mojan's coming to the bench. He's checking his chin. He caught a stick up around the face from Knowlton when he went to finish a check there.
45 seconds gone on the man advantage. No score with 10:40 to go in the opening stanza. Sent down across the line. It'll pinball around into the right corner. In a scoreless first period. Down in that corner was Owen Collins. Now it's Kirby at the right point. Fakes on the slap shot. Plays it to the hash marks now. And it comes out of the zone. A Cardinal tries to get ahead of steam, but nothing doing. That was Cunningham. Spun right back around by the Cardinals. They'll send it down, and Voigt watches it go past him. Now it'll just sit back behind his cage, waiting for it. Knowlton sends it back out, and DeBaradinas will take it. Across the line he goes, sends it across. playing a little tic-tac-toe into the right circle, put down on net, and it goes off into the left circle now with 27 to go on the power play. Penalty taken once again for the Cardinals. Davey going off at 3:29 for intermission. Cross ice it comes just inside the point. Now they'll play it from the sharp angle. Back behind the net of Bizzuto, scoreless with 8 to go on the power play. Voigt waiting at the right point. He'll grab it there. Just play it with the backhander down into the right corner. 2-1. The power play expires. 9.5 to go in the first period, and the Cardinals will play it back out to center. Waiting at center was Matt Davey. Davey, of course, was the offender on that penalty.
Oh, and a missed opportunity. If that defenseman had his head up, he was going on a breakaway right there.
9:14 to go, first period, no score. Played back to center again. Blue Wave go to grab it with Congdon right in front of his own bench, but here are the Cardinals in the red. Now a bad turnover sends down into the left corner. It was turned over by Prattley. In that left corner, the Cardinals will take it back, though, and they'll look to play it out to center. They do, but Scott Voigt waiting in the neutral zone. He'll just send it back behind the cage of Nick Bizzuto, the senior goalie for the Greenwich Cardinals. Out to center it comes, bouncing around. Here comes a Cardinal to get across the line. Right circle, sent across, into the slot, and the save made by Voigt, and he'll hold on. Alex Mosian, the sophomore, came into the left side of the slot, went for the backhander. We stay scoreless.
Beautiful setup. Voigt keeps his composure, stays calm, goes down butterflies, smothers it. Great play on both ends.
Face-off will come to the right side of Voigt. Salger for the Blue Wave. And off the draw, controlled by the Blue Wave. It was Dylan Madden for the Cardinals. Or was it actually? It looked like Alex Presley when all was said and done. It was one. Down the right side it goes. That's very unusual to see a non-goalie wearing one. That's what I'm trying to say.
Very.
Guys, I can clarify on that right there. The goalie actually offered his jersey up to the player who forgot his away jersey. I will do a little
That makes
investigation and
sense.
see if we can figure out whose it was.
That's exactly got to be the case because Alex Presley is listed as a goalie, and you're not supposed to skate as a forward or a defenseman wearing one.
And Alex is wearing his whites next to Frank right now.
So either way, we know that's the deal. We just got to figure out who it is. So they'll play it back out to center. Across the line comes Hazelton from the looks of, or was it DeBerardinis? It was DeBerardinis, so it comes back the other way. Now the Cardinals skating from top to bottom. David Voigt will leave it back behind his own net. Scott Voigt will go over into the left corner. Scoreless game as we hit the midway part of period number 1. Along the left wing, Matt Davey there for Greenwich, but taken right back out. Blue Wave have had the better of it, although the best opportunity so far was right down below us, and Voigt made the save. As we stay scoreless with 7:20 to go, Frank's back on Mike. What do you have, Frank?
Rob, it's JT Lawrence, truly number 6 on the roster, who'll be rocking number 1 today.
All right, number 1 in your heart. Down to Voigt it goes. He'll cover with the left glove. 7:11 to go, period number 1. Let's grab some coffee. No score. See what I did there?
Yeah, very well done.
Thank you.
Guys, Presley has asked that if Lawrence does score, he would still like credit for the goal.
No problem. I think that is the only thing we can do.
Forget your jersey. There's a price to pay.
Absolutely, as Chris Canlon would say. Down into the right corner it goes off the draw. It'll be played behind the net. We love Cato. We do. Put out in front. Cardinals couldn't control it with Michael Mosian. Played back out to the neutral zone. Scoreless game, 6:55 to go. Period number 1. Been a while since we've seen the ice. I don't remember the last game we did, come to think of it.
I was trying to figure out the last time I was here.
Now it's loose and it hits the post. Clank off the pipe and we stay scoreless. A Tony Orlando and Dawn type of moment, twice on the pipe. Back behind the net it goes. Into the right corner. Glassmeyer backhands out to center. Come on, that was solid. Here comes Kirby across the line. To the hash marks he goes. Back behind the net into the left corner. No score, 6:19 to go. First period at the Darien Ice Rink on a Wednesday afternoon. Playoffs start, yes. Playoffs, Jim Mora, across the line into the right circle. Our playoff coverage will begin next Tuesday. Many of us will be out of town over the next couple of days as the Cardinals will bring it back on net. Voigt Thought he lost it. Now he holds it. No score, 5:57 to go in the first.
Yeah, Voigt thought he had that. Let's take a look at the replay here. Voigt thinks he has it. It's another nice breakaway for Greenwich, and Voigt just stays with the play.
We'll get you the replay in a moment. There it is now. As you could see, played back behind the net. Mosian, and then out of the zone it went. They'll bring it back the other way. Now it's slid across, says live action below us. In the meantime, it'll go off into the left corner, but here's the chance on net. Action going on here, 5:37 to go first period, and still no score. Darien and Greenwich at the Darien Ice Rink. Puck went behind the net. Scott Voigt played it ahead, got away from DeBaradinas, but back behind him come the Blue Wave and Thomas Salger, the junior. Down on net it goes. Nick Bizzuto will cover. As I started to say, all the playoff action, of course, beginning next week. We will be with you on Tuesday with girls basketball, and that will be at Fairfield Ludlow. So busy stretch coming up beginning next Tuesday. Doubleheader there. Then doubleheader back here for girls hockey on Wednesday. Girls basketball championship next Thursday, and then the following Saturday, the girls ice hockey championship. That will be, however, at Terry Connors Rink. 5:17 to go first period, and that's only one of 3 hockey games we will do that day, because we'll have 2 of what's formerly known as playdown games or semifinals, because the top 2 seeds get byes in the FCIAC boys ice hockey. Quarterfinals. That's why I keep wanting to call them playdowns. Sent across into the right circle, and all the way out it comes, touched by the Cardinals. It'll come down into the Blue Wave end. Send it around the boards to the right wing side. Off the boards there. Here's Max Romine. Romine lifts along the boards, but it's a Blue Wave, Hazelton, to grab it. Now Romine again. He'll send it cross ice and out to the neutral zone. Mullen went to grab it. Fanning initially on the pass, but the Blue Wave now offside. 4:37 to go in the first, no score.
That's the only thing that I've seen that really, where anybody's coming up short. Greenwich has whiffed a couple of times on passes and clears. Other than that, I mean, I could see us being a quick intermission. Keep doing what you're doing and be patient. Get a drink.
Off the face-off to the dot near the Greenwich end. Out of the zone come the Cardinals. Down on net and into the left-handed glove of David Voigt, who tosses it around like a first baseman. 4:28 to go in the first. No score.
And we're going to check out the replay. Now, that is the shot off of the post.
And the post is your friend. And here off the draw, goes to the right wing side. Put out in front, and almost an own goal by Glassmeyer. Unintentionally just kind of tipped it, and it went right back to Voigt. That was dangerous. Still no score.
That was frighteningly close.
Glassmeyer will go for the draw against Dunham for the Cardinals in a scoreless game. 4:19 to go first period. Off that face-off, Michael Mosian was there for Greenwich. He grabs it now back behind the net, just trickles out in front. A Cardinal takes it behind the net. That's Alex Mosian. You got 2 for the price of 1. Whistled back behind the net. Now that try got deflected off a bad stick by Colin Kelly. He will go and grab some new lumber. It's broken in pieces on the ice.
Yeah, the shot actually shattered Kelly's stick.
Some hard hitting behind the net here as Mosian delivered a hello to Scott Voigt, played back out to center, and Colin Kelly goes to grab it. Kelly now will go for a change. Harry Congdon comes back behind his own zone and play it back out to neutral zone ice. 3.5 to go in the first period in a scoreless game. Goes behind the net of Bizzuto, was loose for a moment, now turned back over, and here come the Cardinals skating from top to bottom. They get across the line, but deflected off McCarthy. They hold on to it, and it gets pushed aside by Voigt. From the sharp angle, it goes behind the cage once again and goes off into the corner with Owen Johnson. Pushed right back across by Greenwich, but instead it'll be Solger to take it for the Wave, steps across the line, gets into the left circle. In that left circle, now to the side of it. They bring it back out, and it goes behind the cage again. 3 minutes to go in the first period. It's no score between Greenwich and Darien. First place on the line here at the Darien Ice Rink. Along the right wing side it goes. It'll bounce down to Bizzuto, and he will hold on with the glove. 2:51 to go first period. No score.
Been a good first period.
Frank. We'll get to Frank in a little bit. Face-off will come back to the left side. of Bizzuto. Off the draw it goes. Played down on net. It's loose and goes off into the right wing. Romine there for the Blue Wave. In that right corner, back out come the Blue Wave. Now it's the Cardinals skating out the center, get across the line.
Almost put themselves off sides.
Around the boards it goes. Played back out to center. Romine there for the Wave. Cunningham plays it back into his own zone for Greenwich. Cross ice it goes. Always hard to tell what's going on because of that top-to-bottom view. Bounces loose back for the Blue Wave, McCarthy, and it's taken by Greenwich at the right point. That was McKinney, the senior. Now it's loose and sent off to the side. Bizzuto able to push it away. 2 minutes to go in a spirited first period. Just one penalty so far. Spinning back around McKinney. Now they'll send it down. Here's Kirby. Kirby goes cross ice. Knowlton plays it right back to Kirby. Jake Kirby brings it out. The senior will step across the line. Send it down. It'll go behind the net with 1:40 to go in the first period. Left wing side it goes. So all those games we'll have for you here on the HAN Network beginning next Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday, then Saturday. Right point pushed aside by Bizzuto. Into the left boards it goes with just about 90 seconds remaining. In fact, under 90 now. Make it 80 in period number 1 and no score. Again, behind the net, around the boards it goes to the right wing side. And out of the Greenwich end, a little touch there, and the Blue Wave will spin right back around. Collins gets across. Now it's Kirby. Kirby into the corner, and Kirby will go behind the net. Just trying to set it up out in front, but nobody's home, so here come the Cardinals from top to bottom. Skating with a head of steam, they turn it over. Mosian now loose, and it goes off to the side, and we get a whistle. Offside, 57 to go in the first.
Looked a little scarier than it was. I was fluttering in when I heard the whistle.
Face-off will come outside of the Darien zone.
Guys heading into the locker room early for Greenwich. That was Colin Kelly, the defenseman. He was the one who broke his stick on that last shot, just grabbing a stick. He'll probably hang out there until the end of the period, though.
All right, Frank, thank you. 45 to go in the first period. This will come down into the Blue Wave zone, and there's an icing. 42.9 remaining, period number 1, no score.
Have not seen many icings today, which is nice.
So we've got that going for us.
Exactly.
Right. Face off to the left side of Nick Bizzuto. Got a girls hockey score in a moment. I will enlighten you. Out of the zone it comes. Down into the Blue Wave end once again. Here is your icing call from Dave Stewart. New Canaan beats Simsbury 4-1. That Granito girl had 2 goals. Liz McCarthy and Bella Marciano had a goal each. The Rams are now 17-2. Win number 301 at New Canaan for Rich Buell and Catherine Granito with 2 goals. So a good day for the Rams. We had Rich Buellin, of course, on Nutmeg Sports earlier today, and our thanks to him. And yes, indeed, our congratulations on win number 300 and now 436 in his career. That's not a bad day's work.
No, it's a good run.
Yeah. Romine out of his own zone, 19 to go. First period, no score. Taken back by the Cardinals. They'll spin it out to center. 14 to go in the period. Blue Wave having the better of it right now. Knowlton takes it back into his own zone, whistles it out to center, bounces away from Hazelton with 6. Down the left wing side, Cardinals look like they're content to go into the locker room scoreless. They will play the period out. 1 in the books, no score.
I really enjoyed that period. Yeah, there was no score. Yeah, people are going to say you need more scoring in hockey. That was a great period. There were some moments that kept you on the edge of your seat. Back and forth, great pace. Everything I wanted.
It was a good period, good action, good goaltending. So I think we're off to a fairly decent start here for this afternoon. We will take a break and come back. First intermission now with the Greenwich Cardinals and the Darien Blue Wave scoreless. You're watching the FCIAC on the HAN Network.
Here at the Organic Yard, We use bionutritional products in our lawn care programs, which reduces the need for fertilizers, nitrates, phosphates, and pesticides up to 80%, making a safer environment for your family and pets. With our organic lawn treatment, you'll receive vigorous, healthy plants with improved root development and better drought resistance. Enroll now in our 2016 Organic Yard program and get a free organic deer tick treatment. Call us today at 914-764-5491 or go to our website at millerslandscapinginc.com.
At Innovative Health and Rehabilitation, we provide an advanced level of care to resolve symptoms and minimize recurrence. Our experienced professional staff design and implement effective plans to return individuals to their prior level of function. We specialize in the treatment of orthopedic and sports injuries, pre-post surgical rehabilitation, performance enhancement, strength and conditioning, vestibular rehabilitation, balance and gait training. A convenient location and flexible scheduling is available to accommodate your needs. We look forward to providing you with a comprehensive level of care to meet your rehabilitation goals. We are also affiliated with 3 high schools, Norwalk, West Hill, and Stamford. Our certified athletic trainers cover the athletic events at the high schools to prevent, treat, and educate student athletes and injuries. Our certified athletic trainers also take part in the New Canaan Youth Football Program. Reach us at 650 West Avenue in Norwalk. Call us at 203-852-9903. Innovative Health and Rehabilitation.
At the Sylvan Learning Center of Darien, experienced teachers and personalized academic support equals superior results. Our certified teachers uncover skill gaps, address specific needs, and help students realize greater academic success and increased confidence. We're enrolling now. Individualized after-school tutoring in reading, math, history, elementary math, algebra, geometry, calculus, high school science, and study skills. For a free consultation, call 203-655-3276 or email gmcsylvan@gmail.com.
The HAN network travels all over Fairfield County in our HAN Cruiser, covering news, sports, and entertainment.
And when we do, we make sure that our HAN network branded floor mats are with us to keep the dust and dirt outside.
These mats get filthy, and there's only one company that can get rid of that kind of dirt.
Triple S, with locations all over Fairfield County. We're just now pulling into their Stamford facility. Rob, let's go see if Steve and Wanda can clean these mats up.
Wanda, Steve, literally thousands of feet have walked across our mats in the last 5 months in wind, rain, mud, more.
Is there any way you could make these mats look like new again?
No problem.
That's what we do here. Come on in.
For more than 50 years, Triple S has been Fairfield County's expert service for carpet, upholstery, and drapery cleaning. We provide the best in repairs and in-depth restoration, understanding fabrics and how to properly clean and restore them. Our staff will come to your home to clean your wall-to-wall carpet to perfection. We can also pick up your fine carpets and bring them to our facilities. With locations in Norwalk, Stamford, and Stratford, Triple S will get the job done fast, big or small. At Triple S, you can count on our people as well as our cleaning.
Find us at triplesclean.com or 203-847-8000.
Denali is your outdoor retail destination in the Westfield Trumbull Mall. For the last 21 years, we have carefully selected clothing, footwear, and gear from a variety of the best outdoor brands, such as the North Face, Patagonia, Vineyard Vines, UGG, Merrell, GoPro, New Balance, and many more. Our stores have a friendly, knowledgeable staff to help you with all of your running, hiking, and cold weather needs, and in discovering all things outdoorsy and awesome. Visit us in the Westfield Trumbull Mall or online at denalioutdoor.com.
Well, there's still a bite out on the water. Most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. If that's the case, keep one thing in mind. It's always summer at the dock shop. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. The dock shop is not your average bait and tackle store. They offer a wide array of products, including apparel, jewelry, home furnishings, and some flat-out cool stuff, all with a nautical theme, most made in the USA. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, docshop.com.
When it comes to local entertainment, we've got it all.
From movies, local artists, etiquette, and more.
Watch HAN Arts and Leisure every Thursday at 2 on the HAN Network.
The HAN Network is the leader in local broadcasting in Fairfield and Westchester counties. We reach tens of thousands of viewers via our live news, sports, and entertainment broadcasting. We can create your advertisement and broadcast it through our programming to one of the most affluent markets in the United States. And remember, our broadcasting is live, which means viewers cannot skip or click past your marketing message. And we measure our audience and their demographics on every broadcast. To advertise on the HAN Network, contact Advertising Director Jessica Murrin at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Welcome back to the Darien Ice Rink, the HAN Network bringing you high school hockey, the FCIAC. A battle for first place. Darien and Greenwich scoreless after one. John Kovac sitting in for Rob Adams. He'll introduce the crew later. We're going to bring in Frank Granito. Frank, you've been down at ice side. From what I've seen here, both teams doing what they want to do, just nobody's got it past the goalie yet.
Well, it was one of the best periods of hockey we've seen all year. Physical, fast, lots of shots on goal. We saw great goaltending from both teams, and it really is the kind of game that we expected it to be right now. Excuse me, John. If you're Bizzuto for Greenwich, there's no complaining left to do. Your forwards are throwing everything at the net. Voigt is a very good goalie, and we're seeing that right now.
Yeah, Bizzuto was tested a couple of times. He was tested in spurts. We're seeing Darien get the puck in, and their prolonged offensive threats. They might not get the shots on goal. They'll work it. When they did get the shots, Bizzuto very quick with defeat today.
He is, especially for a big guy as well. He takes up a lot of the space down low when he goes down there. Darien's best opportunity came on the power play. Jake Kirby made an unbelievable no-look pass behind his back and found Herbie Hazelton on the back door, who just couldn't control it enough to lift it up over Bizzuto's leg. And Voigt has had to be very strong. Greenwich has had a lot of odd man opportunities. They've had great shots on goal. Both goalies controlling this game right now for their teams.
And Greenwich has tried for that odd man rush the entire afternoon. They've tried to get that headman to somebody coming up to center, somewhere in the neutral zone, generally on the far side of the red line, and get him in or streaking behind the defense. They've almost gotten it a couple of times.
And it's a smart counterattack to what Darien likes to do. They want their defense to play tight to the offensive zone, try to hold the line, force you to have to break out again, or quickly transition at the red line, dump it back in, and put you back into a breakout.
And even with the speed of Greenwich's rushes, Voigt stays very composed and just plays it. He plays it as if he's seeing it in slow motion, like you want from a goalie.
And he's just quietly been one of the most underrated players in the state this year. We talk about how great the offense have been and how involved their defense has been in scoring, but Voigt has got now, I think, 4 shutouts on the year. Through the first 12 games, he'd only given up more than one goal in about 2 games. He's been phenomenal. They're coming off a tough loss against Don Bosco where he gave up 5 goals. I think he's looking to have a bounce-back game right now, and he's doing it.
Oh, he most certainly is. What I said to Rob as we got later on into the period is that this could be a very quick intermission. Keep doing what you're doing. Be patient. Get a drink of water.
Well, I don't think either coach or either team wanted to have to go off and take an extra 15 minutes to slow things down. They're both playing a high-paced game right now, up and down the ice. It's all about who's going to get that first bounce right now. You just sort of feel like it's going to be a costly turnover or just a crazy bounce that's going to lead to the first goal and sort of swing momentum in this game.
We're going to find out quickly. Frank, thank you. Frank Granito going back to ice side. We're going to step out. They're just about done with the ice. When we come back, Rob Adams will give you all the action. New Canaan, Greenwich, Darien, scoreless. FCIAC hockey on the HAN Network.
Hi, I'm Rob Adams with my good friend Donald Eng, and we're the home team for Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 o'clock right here on the HAN Network. We are the place for all things Connecticut sports, so come hang out with us on Nutmeg Sports. Don? They don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday, right here on the HAN Network.
Welcome back to the Darien Ice Rink. FCIAC hockey on the HAN Network. Darien, Greenwich, battle of the two division leaders. They're scoreless after one. The coaches making their way across the ice to their benches. Rob, probably wasn't an awful lot of coaching that had to be done during that intermission.
No, you said it a couple of times, John, and I agree with you. It's just a matter of looking at your team and saying, fellas, keep doing it. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, basically. I mean, don't out-coach yourself here. Don't mess with what's working, and what each team has tried to do is working.
And again, these are two veteran squads, and despite Mac Budd being in his first year as head coach, these are still two veteran coaches. They both know what they're doing. These teams know each other well. We know it was a 1-0 win last year for Darien. We know 3-0 earlier this year. We know the win in the FCIAC championship last year. The point is, there's not a lot that needs to be said. Go out there and do what you were doing. As the teams hit the ice once again, the Blue Wave skate around, but Nick Pizzuto will make himself at home right down below us.
And Nick has been really sharp in net. Very quick with the pads on those two sustained threats by Darien. Darien taking their time, set it up. Greenwich looking, as we said, for that odd man rush.
By the way, I hope we can get a really good look now at Nick Pizzuto's mask, because the back of it in and of itself is glorious, whether you are afraid of clowns or not. That is fantastic on the back of Nick Pizzuto's mask.
Awesome, the back of Nick Pizzuto's mask.
That is fantastic. There you get a bit of a look at it. Bozo the Clown. What more do you need? And Nick, of course, is Nick Pizzuto, so you get the reference.
You know, to remember when they didn't have painted masks. And
yeah.
Mac Wright had one of the best masks going.
He had a great one. You think back to the older masks that had, the stitch marks on them.
Oh, the Jerry Cheevers mask.
Exactly.
From the old Bruins.
Great Jerry Cheevers, who won a cup or two with the Bruins. No score after one. Nick Pizzuto got some playing time as a sophomore, had the split time with Brian Archino last year, but for the most part had to back up Archino. Archino, for the most part, had that job throughout the balance of the season, and the second period is underway. And that's the thing. You're able to cover teams as much as we do, as this is whistled down on net, and wow, a big blast from out at center and covered up by Voigt.
I think that's what Greenwich wants to do. Get in, get shots in, or rushes in on Voigt, catch him off guard. He just plays everything like he's watching a beach ball come in slow motion.
And that's the freshman Davey who whistled that absolutely from almost in Greenwich. No score, 11 seconds gone by, period number 2. As I started to say, we cover these teams, we cover these schools, and you get to know them so well. So I've known Nick and his brother Matt and his dad Butch. I've known them for a while, so you just get to know these people and you learn things. Backhanded out of the left circle. Now it's Davey in the left circle. Gets tangled up with Romine. Side of the left circle at the hash marks. Penalty coming here. There goes Pizzuto. Ben Van Dyne plays it. Now it's off to the right boards. There's the touch. And the first penalty of the afternoon for the Blue Wave is going to be a cross-check. And they got to stop the clock, by the way. Frank, you might want to get on that. Ticking down to 14:05. Now they stop it.
Well,
that's a lot of time off the clock. A good 9 seconds actually ran off.
Did we hear that right, Frank? Cross check?
It is Hazelton for a cross check. They're going to rule it. They're going to hold it for about 5 seconds, or they'll reset it right there. So 14:10 on the clock, 2 minutes against Hazelton. And we will see the Cardinal power play and Blue Wave penalty kill for the first time tonight.
So we will rule it at about 45 seconds into the second period. Now the clock is running. 5 seconds off of it already, but nonetheless, turned back around by the Cardinals and Colin Kelly. Scoreless game, first Cardinal power play of the day. They throw it down on net. It goes down into the right circle. Grabbed by Voigt. He corrals it all the way down into the Blue Wave zone, taken by Kirby. Kirby in the right corner in the Cardinal end, I beg your pardon. Now along comes Glassmeyer at the hash marks. Glassmeyer and Kirby. Kirby the backhander, and it got deflected off of Kelly. Kelly behind the net. 37 gone on what's supposed to be a Greenwich power play, but they would like to prove that to you. Here's Casey Cunningham out of his own zone. He stops in the neutral zone, bounces it off the boards. This not the sharpest of power plays to start things. Taken back by the Cardinals. Now they've got to touch up, believe it or not, and out to center. So it'll be the Blue Wave into the slot. Deflected and sprawling out with the blocker and the stick goes Bazzuto.
Paralyzingly slow shot coming in.
Dangerous. Bounced around. It'll go along the left wing boards. Cunningham at the left point. Feeds it across to Kelly at the right point. He stops. Bounces it off the boards. It'll pinball around and get sent back along to the left wing side. Turned over again. Greenwich will take it. The Blue Wave, now it's blocked. And the Cardinals come on with Cunningham sent down. It got pushed aside into the left corner. Down to 29 to go on the power play and 12:35 to go in the period. Across the Greenwich line, they will take it with Kelly. Spin it back out. Grabbed by McKinney. Now it's Kelly. Kelly out of his own zone. He'll step across the Blue Wave line into the right circle. Sent it well wide. Into the left corner it goes with 9 to go on the man advantage. Trying to work it off from the angle. It'll come out and all the way down off to the left side with 3 and 2 and 1 in the power play has expired. We skate on scoreless. Each team now 0 for 1 on the extra man. Behind the net, it'll bounce ahead. Good head of steam and out to Mosian. Alex Mosian kind of jumps down to a knee. He can't control it, so it'll be the Blue Wave to bring it back the other way. Sent back out. It'll come down into the neutral zone. Spun back the other way. It's Mosian once again. Alex Mosian across the line. Now it's taken away from him by Davey. Davey with the backhander from the left circle. Now off and bouncing off the boards, and the Blue Wave will take it the other way. They'll get through the neutral zone, trying to dance around, but it's on net, and the save made. And Bazzuto sprawls aside. Colin Kelly will have to go retrieve his stick. Colin Kelly struggling a bit with the lumber today. Broke one before, lost it just there, but no harm. Still no score as well. 11:19 to go, second period. Behind the net, in the Greenwich end, they'll send it out to center. Alex Mosian again, look to feed it through. That would have been JT Lawrence wearing 1 today, not 6 as he's normally listed on the roster. Here come the Blue Wave though, and that's sent well wide off of Ben Brown. Behind the net again, they'll play it with the Cardinals and the Blue Wave in a scoreless game. Sulger along the left boards, played down from the left point, bounces along, penalty coming here. It's going to be on Greenwich with 10:45 to go in the period. It comes across to the right boards, touched again by Congdon, now put down. The Cardinals able to touch, and there is the penalty with 10:39 to go in the second period. Sulger down at the right corner.
And there really could be a second penalty there. That was a cross check to the chest. He rode Sulger back into the boards. I couldn't see who it was. And Sulger went over backwards and hit his head on the boards, the back of his head. Slow getting up there.
Some yelling, some displeasure. Frank will update us on everything in a moment.
And they're checking. They're going to check on Sulger. They've gone to the bench to check on him. There really could be 2 penalties on this, Frank.
Well, as of right now, it's just Mosian for roughing. The captain's Kirby's over discussing with the refs right now, trying to figure out if it is just 1 or 2. We'll wait to hear.
Hey, Mike, nice fucking hit.
So there is the announcement on the penalty. And the face-off will come to the right side, with Cunningham waiting in that right circle. But it's taking a long time to talk it all through.
I think they're sensing that this game could get a little hot, and they're trying to keep a lid on it.
Well, and again, these are 2 schools that do have a little bit of a history. It's not a definitive Greenwich-Darien rivalry, but there have been hints of it over the years. Certainly some touches of it in football that is kind of kicked back up again in recent years. And in hockey, for sure, in the past year and change. Cunningham and Romine for the face-off when they drop the puck. And off the face-off, there it is. Down into the left corner it goes. Mullen for the Blue Wave, now back behind the net. Played by the Cardinals in a scoreless game. 7 gone by in the man advantage. It'll go all the way down to the other end. Voigt will leave it aside. Sam Knowlton will go and collect it. Starting from top to bottom, they'll bounce it off and play it out to center. Across the line comes Mullen. Mullen with the captain's C, goes to the top of the left circle. Now Knowlton tried to get it through traffic. It goes down into the left corner. There's Mullen again. Mullen to the hash marks, now grabs it, left circle. Bouncing off the boards at the left point, played to Knowlton. He goes cross ice Kirby. Kirby to Hazelton in the right circle. Back out into the high slot. Now coming over to the top of the left circle. Oh, out in front, and Bizzuto able to stone Mullen. Mullen had empty net to shoot at. We're still scoreless with 45 gone on the power play.
Great change of direction by Bizzuto to slam the door on that. No reason that shouldn't be a 1-0 game.
Face-off will be on the right side. Cunningham and Romine for the draw. Down into the left corner. Whistled off the boards by Ben Van Dyne. Played over into the right circle now. In that right circle, waiting there was Hazelton. Grabbed again by Kirby at the bottom of the circle. Goes to the hash marks, now all the way out to the right point. Played across it goes. Mullen, now Romine. Here comes Kirby. Deflected off the play by Kelly. Kirby right circle. Sent down on net. Oh, that puck was very loose. Now it's loose again. Off to the left side of Bizzuto. You could see his head kind of shaking around to keep an eye on it. Down to 40 to go on the power play. Bouncing across, it goes into the right circle. Hazelton right circle now. Gets outside of the circle. There's Colin Kelly for Greenwich in the right corner. They get tangled up there. Kirby comes over to join the conversation. Down to 9:04 to go, second period. 22 remaining on the power play. Ooh, that got away from Bizzuto, but it bounces away harmlessly and out to the neutral zone. Voigt will play it out of his own end. 12 to go on the power play. 8:49 to go, second period. It's a scoreless game. Through the neutral zone again. Now it'll come down into the Greenwich end. Bouncing along, it'll go behind the net. Along comes Collins and Prattley for Greenwich. Now it's to Berardinis in the left corner for the Blue Wave. Off that comes Prattley for Greenwich. Played back out into the high slot. Loose again. Thrown down and deflected aside by Bizzuto. 8:20 to go, second period. Penalty is expired. Across the line at the other end goes Alex Mosian into the left circle. They'll spin it back around. Now the Cardinals take it away once again with Michael Mosian. Off to the right point. They'll send it down the right wing. 8:07 to go, second period, in a scoreless game on this Wednesday afternoon. Rob Adams, John Kovac, Frank Granito, and our crew here at the Darien Ice Rink. At the top, at the point, they send it down now. It'll go behind the net. That was Prattley for the Cardinals into the right corner. Prattley again, just at the right point. He bounces it off the board, sends it down into the right corner, but the Blue Wave take it away. Sent around the boards now to the left wing side. Scoreless game. Dunham on for Greenwich. 7.5 to go in the second period. Coming along to the side of the right circle. They'll chip it back out to center. Prattley will play it cross ice, and Kelly will take it from there. Kelly steps across the blue line for the Blue Wave. Sent down, chipping at it. And they score! Nick Bizzuto punches the air with his stick. Greenwich takes a 1-0 lead.
For the first time that I can remember tonight, Voigt lets a rebound get away from him, and it sets up the backhander.
Greenwich at 7:42 takes a 1-0 lead.
The goal will go to Cal McKinney, the assist to Matt Davey and Colin Kelly, and it all started with the bad change by Darien in their own zone. The forwards were late getting back, and that allowed for the odd man rush and why no one was there to pick up the guy scoring off the rebound.
All right, so McKinney at 7:42, and it's 1-0. Face-off will come to the left side of Nick Bizzuto. And that's big for Greenwich for a couple of reasons. In the pregame show, Frank told you, for the Cardinals, they need to get that opening lead. They need to strike first. Well, they've done that, but it's more than that. These teams have met a few times, as we've mentioned, and of course it was a 1-0 game. Jack Pardue, that lone goal in the state championship last March. Of course, they lost 3-0, so the point being, the Cardinals have not only not seen a lead against the Blue Wave in some time, but they have not scored a goal. In fact, hadn't scored a goal since the FCIAC championship last year when Colin Kelly made it 1-0. They bring it back at the other end. Down into the left circle it goes Matt Davey for Greenwich in a 1-0 game, 6.5 to go, second period. Across the line come the Blue Wave, and it's a high shot that gets deflected off the body of Bizzuto. Spun back around, though, by the Blue Wave. They'll keep it at the left point. They whistle it down with Knowlton. Now Brown at the hash marks in the right circle. Out it goes. McCarthy will take it there for the Blue Wave. 1-0 Greenwich, 6:07 to go, second period. Into the right corner, Colin Kelly again. Now Solger at the side of the right circle at the hash marks, playing it off to the top of the right circle. It'll bounce down into the corner. Brown there at the left hash marks now. Along comes DeBerardinis out of the left corner. They'll send it down with McCarthy into the right corner. Blue Wave trailing 1-0, 5:42 to go, second period. It was out in front, and Bizzuto and Kelly collided to push it aside. Ben Van Dyne was there as well. That just kind of bounced along with a little flutter bomb off to the right side of Bizzuto. 5.5 to go, second period. Puck goes now with Kelly for Greenwich. They're just trying to clear the zone. Would be a well-timed icing to get it out. This will not get it done because it gets sent down into the Blue Wave end, but it did give Greenwich a chance to make a bit of a change. Defense still the same as Knowlton came down into the slot. In the right corner, backhanded, now spinning it around. Glassmeyer for the Blue Wave, leaves it aside. Glassmeyer again with Kirby. Glassmeyer pushed aside, tried to spin it right out in front. He was point blank. Into the left corner it goes, held in by Voigt, couldn't control it, out of the zone. Pushed back through the neutral zone. Voigt gets across the line as his mates touch up to the left circle. On net, Bizzuto says, I'll take it, I'll hold it. 1-0 Greenwich, 4:46 to go in the second.
I think he'll happily take the face-off, Rob. Let's take a look at this. Here comes the break, works it across. The rebound gets away, and it's backhanded in. It was almost like he was set up.
Almost.
I mean, you couldn't put the puck on the stick any better than that rebound arrived.
Off the face-off, it goes down into the left corner, along those left wing boards. Now they'll bring it back to the left wing and out to the left point. Spun back, though, and out go the Cardinals with Alex Mosian, the sophomore, in the neutral zone. He gets backed up with 4.5 to go in the second period. Congdon for the Blue Wave with 4:25 to go and a 1-0 lead for Greenwich. Spinning it back around, here come the Blue Wave. Kirby across the Greenwich line, gets into the left circle, backhands it, and it gets sticked aside by Bizzuto. 1-0. Into the right circle it goes. Cunningham held in by Congdon at the right point. Down into the corner and behind the net with Kirby. Out in front and kicked aside. A beautiful save by Bizzuto into the left corner. Hazelton plays it there for the Wave. Now the Cardinals able to clear it. Mosian trying to dance around the man. That was Congdon to send it down into the left corner. It'll get taken back behind the net by Pratley of the Cardinals. Now down on net, and the high save made off the chest of Bizzuto. He will hand it off with 3:46 to go. Second period, 1-0.
From his reaction to the goal, you can tell that Nick Bizzuto got some confidence out of that. Just came out of the crease, pumped his stick fist. He's feeling a little better about things at the moment.
And he needs to be, because he is under heavy siege right now as the Blue Wave have gone on an all-out attack on the offensive front.
Off the face-off. Goes to the right point and out of the zone. Knowlton, now Mullen.
That might be intentional.
On the whistle, stopping with 3:37 to go. Go ahead, Frank.
Well, I was going to say that they might have been able to rule that an intentional offside, because Mullen had to be aware of that the play was off, and they might bring that face-off all the way down to their own end. But it'll stay just outside the zone. And John, we talked about in the second intermission how it's just going to take that one bounce to sort of spring momentum. Voigt a little uncomfortable on the goal there, couldn't really control the rebound. There's the bounce, and Bizzuto is feeling it right now.
In the circle, taken out by the Cardinals and Matt Davey. Down the left wing side it goes. 3:19 to go, second period, 1-0. Played behind the net, now at the point. Turning it back around goes Hazelton, and down the left wing side they go. Backhanded on net, Bizzuto able to make the save off Romine and Mullen colliding in the left circle now. Into the corner it goes. From behind, getting knocked down, was Van Dyne. And this will get played back out of the Greenwich zone, and an icing. 2:51 to go second period, 1-0. Difference in the game, that one goal from McKinney at 7:24.
One bounce, one loose rebound.
One headlight. .251 remaining, 1-0. Face off to the right side. At the left point, high slot, deflected and pushed aside. Bizzuto having to do some nifty work there in the left circle. This comes up into the netting, but you saw that kind of pinballed off some activity out in front, and Bizzuto able to punch it away.
Yeah, he's really zoned in on the puck at the moment.
Face-off will come to his right. Dunham and Sulger for the draw. Cheating in is Suter. He gets kicked aside. It'll go down into the left corner. Sulger there, back behind the net. They'll play it into the left corner. Along the left side, comes right back behind the end line, rolls along the boards and out of the zone. All the way down it goes, icing waved off. 2:19 to go second period, 1-0 Greenwich. Greenwich, of course, affectionately known as Big Red. And they bring it back out into center. Big Red and the Cardinals. Sent back the other way. Dunham into the left circle. 1-0 game, 2 minutes to go, second period. Cardinals play at the Dorothy Hamill rink. Would have loved to have gotten a game in there this year. Have done too many games there in my life. Know that building so well, but couldn't make it happen this year. We will hope for the future. Spun back around and across the line goes Michael Mosian down the left side. And it's just a question, without too much climbing on the soapbox, but we want to cover all the games that we can. Off into the left circle it goes, Knowlton and Glassmeyer. Spun back the other way with Alex Mosian. Mosian tried to jump up and get out of the way of Kirby, but the two collided anyway. That's where I'm always amazed at people who can skate, because I can't do that.
I couldn't do that walking.
Nope. Back out at the other end, Colin Kelly will take it in his own zone, but the Blue Wave will take it back. They touch up and they come across the line. Down into the right corner, Colin Kelly will play it along the boards. Over there to grab it is Matt Davey. Davey tried to feed Cunningham, goes to his left. McKinney gets across the line. He has the goal, 56 to go in the period. Now it's loose and out in front, pushed aside by Voigt. Goes into the right circle. 1-0 game, 49 to go in the period. The point I'll try to make as quickly as I can with the action going on, of course, is that it's a matter not only of sight lines, but Ethernet is the biggest thing. We've got to get online to do these games. We want to bring you the games. And that's really all it comes down to. Into the corner it goes. They'll play it back out to center. Sure, sight lines are very important. There's no doubt about that. We want to bring you the best quality we can as well. But it all starts with the Ethernet. Off the left side with 17 to go in the period, 1-0. Back behind the net, down to 14. Played to the side of the right circle, bounces off Cunningham. Romine plays it into the high slot. Riley Mullen had a chance, but nothing cooking. So to the right side it goes, just pinballs off bodies and goes into the right corner, hits the netting with 2 to go in the period.
I think that one odd hop was a little closer to going in than we might think.
Oh, I agree. I would not argue that point at all. 2 seconds remaining. Second period, 1-0 Greenwich. But a full docket of playoff action begins for us next week. 8 games from Tuesday to Saturday. That's what you call my kind of a buffet table.
That's a good week.
That will be a good week for sure, but we'll somehow keep the voice as fresh as we can. 30 minutes gone. 1 goal in. 1-0 Greenwich. The goal by McKinney at 7:42. Thoughts after 2, my friend?
Keep it up. Keep it just like this. As Frank said, it was going to be a strange hop, And it was a loose rebound, and it was almost a second loose rebound, as I'll discuss with Frank between periods, almost cost Darien again.
I will let you guys do the honors then. 2 in the books at the Darien Ice Rink. And look, it's living up to it so far. After 2, Greenwich 1, Darien nothing. We're back for the second intermission after this. You're watching the FCIAC on the HAN Network.
Darien Sport Shop is a unique store because it's a family store. A busy mom can come in with kids in tow and find everything she needs for them, and even find a dress for herself for Saturday night. And if she's in a rush, she can simply go home and order it from us that night. We'll deliver it the next day. The Darien Sport Shop. We're pretty on the outside and amazing on the inside. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut. Or shop us online at dariensport.com.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332 and online at stratfordsmile.com.
Denali is your outdoor retail destination in the Westfield Trumbull Mall. For the last 21 years, we have carefully selected clothing, footwear, and gear from a variety of the best outdoor brands, such as the North Face, Patagonia, Vineyard Vines, UGG, Merrell, GoPro, New Balance, and many more. Our stores have a friendly, knowledgeable staff to help you with all of your running, hiking, and cold weather needs, and in discovering all things outdoorsy and awesome. Visit us in the Westfield Trumbull Mall or online at denalioutdoor.com.
Tired of all the bull? Relax and enjoy the experience of buying a car at Pamby Chrysler Jeep Dodge and Ram. No bull allowed.
I really wanted something that felt like a home. Coming from a big house, I wanted the feel of a home as opposed to a condo. My property taxes on my single-family home were close to $20,000 a year. Now that I've downsized and I'm in a townhome, and because of the condo tax laws, my fees have gone from $20,000 down to about $5,300 with the star exemption. There is no other townhome that compares in the area. This is where I want to be.
Want to learn how sponsored content can help your business? Let the HAN Network help. First of all, what is sponsored content? Well, it's a story, video, or other content compelling enough for folks to want to read it, view it, or interact with it, and it's sponsored by a business. We create this kind of content for clients all the time. We build an interesting story or video that carefully weaves your business's brand into the narrative. It might be a story about how the condominium law in New York State makes property taxes on condos much lower than in Connecticut. The sponsor is a condo developer in Westchester, New York. Or a video explaining the European roots of a cafe and yoga studio in Wilton. Or talking about the history of a brand, product, or store while showing its modern-day incarnation. Or even a poll that asks readers to answer a question that leads them to your brand. Let the HAN Network Content Studio build a story around your business.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune into Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office. Welcome back to the Darien Ice Rink. John Kovach in for Rob Adams. Greenwich with a 1-0 lead over Darien, but we have a situation that's developed during that second period. Frank Granito, ice side. Frank.
Well, John, I talked to one of the healthy scratches for the Greenwich roster. They were walking back around where we are here, and I asked if Coach Russell was pulling out some sort of unique strategy, keeping his team on the bench. We just found out that one of the locker rooms that they are in has flooded, and they are unable to go back in there right now.
Do we know anything about equipment in there? Do we know anything about damage, or we just know that they can't use it between the second and third periods here?
We haven't heard anything else yet at the moment. We know they can't go in there. We're going to try to get a hold of one of the guys inside the scorer's table, see if he'll give us any comment on what's going on there. If you're JT Lawrence right now, you're probably pretty happy that you didn't bring your jersey, because you're going to be the only one with one tomorrow.
So just to run that down again, there's been a flood inside the Darien ice rink. It's affecting the Greenwich locker room, it appears, and the Greenwich Cardinals are having their intermission meeting on the bench. Frank, as you said, between the first and second periods, it would come down to a bounce, a carom, a rebound, and it ends up a long rebound right to the stick that costs the Darien Blue Wave.
Well, before you even got to that rebound, there was the first shot in the period that was taken from outside the zone, and Voigt looked a little uncomfortable with it. It was low to the blocker side, similar to where we saw the rebound come from on the goal. And again, it's a long, unusual rebound, and it's a great job by Greenwich to make sure they put it into the back of the net and seize the opportunity.
It's a long, unusual rebound, but I mean, you can practice a lot of hours and not put a puck on a stick blade like that carom ended up on Cal McKinney's stick blade that ended up going right back past David Voigt.
No, and it's just, again, it's a great job by Greenwich capitalizing, and Voigt has got to be able to shake it off now moving forward. And towards the end of that period, we saw the Blue Wave get onto the attack. They had a lot of chances, but credit Bizzuto right now, who has been far and away the best player in this game.
Well, we've seen Darien before, and when they get down, you better get out of the way, because all you've done is irritate them. You hit them, and they are coming to hit you back, so that first one better count.
And that was sort of the issue, too, we saw the other night against Don Bosco. They were only down 3-2 after the second period, and were playing as close to Don Bosco as they could. But again, we saw the frustration mount, and it got the better of them, taking a couple stupid penalties in the third period, and that's really where Bosco pulled away. You go back to the game earlier this year we covered against Notre Dame West Haven, and penalties and late game frustrations mounted as they came to a crushing loss there, their first one of the year. It will be interesting to see how they react now in this final period, coming out trailing Greenwich 1-0.
And it did also get a little hot in that second period, with a couple of penalties and a little bit of jawing back and forth. Has that died down?
Well, it's been a physical game since the first shift. We saw bodies flying around all across the ice. I think that tensions are down a little bit. There was the one segment where Greenwich picked up their first penalty, or their second penalty of the game, and both Coach Mac Budd and Captain Jake Kirby were unsure as to why there wasn't another penalty, or why it wasn't a major for targeting the head, as they felt that the hands went up to the head against the glass.
Well, and then you had the penalty here that was not called here in the corner, that I don't know if you could see it where you are, where it was a clear ride the cross-check into the boards. I'm truly surprised that was not called.
And that might have been the check they were specifically talking about with the referees and wondering why it was not going to be called. But credit the refs, they've done a good job of keeping this game under control. It's been as good a game as we've seen all year, and it should be a very exciting third period.
So we said between the first and second intermissions, it would be an easy job of coaching. Keep doing what you're doing, be patient, get hydrated.
Well, we also said that these guys probably didn't want to even take themselves off the ice, and I think that Coach Russell took that to heart, and he's going to keep his team on the bench, and we'll see how tough it is to coach him up from there.
So what do you see for this third period?
For the third period, if you're Greenwich, these first few shifts, you got to get the puck in deep and just get the pressure off Bizzuto and your defense. Darien spent the last 6 minutes full on the attack, throwing everything they had at the net. It's going to be a little difficult, and it'll be interesting to see how they respond to the unusual circumstances here in between periods. If you're Darien, play within yourself. Play your game. Don't try to force things just yet. There's no need to be frustrated, and it'll be interesting to see how they handle this situation, especially as we get closer to the postseason, where we will see a lot more games like this one.
All right, Frank, we're going to let you get back to ice side. They're almost done resurfacing, and that means we're going to step out, and when we come back, Rob Adams will bring us the third period. Greenwich 1, Darien nothing. The top two teams in the FCIAC in a tight one. FCIAC boys hockey here on the HAN network.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
It's the new year. The to-do list is long and it's easy to feel pulled in many directions at once. Your professional personal shoppers at Walter Stewart's are ready to check groceries off your list by shopping for you. Save extra time this year and spend it doing more important things. Great food and wine delivered to your home with the same-day service. Shop Stewart's online at stewartsmarket.com.
I'm Kate Chaplinsky. Join us for Coffee Break, weekdays at 11 to get the latest Connecticut news, weather, high school sports, and more. News doesn't get any more local than on Coffee Break on the HAN network.
Welcome back to the Darien Ice Rink. John Kovach with Rob Adams, Frank Granito ice side. I'll let Rob introduce the crew. The battle for the top seed in the FCIAC. Right now tilted in the favor of the Greenwich Cardinals, 1-0, 15 minutes to go. Rob, thoughts on this situation that's unfolded in the intermission where Greenwich was unable to go back to their locker room? Any effect?
It is quite an image to see many of them just sitting with their legs hanging over the boards at their bench right now. There you get a look at it. Of course, we have to shoot it through the netting here at the DIR, but it gives you an idea. Look, this is an old facility. I believe it's over 40 years old at this point, and it does need some upgrades, and apparently needs some upgrades in one of the locker rooms right now.
It's the weather has been wreaking havoc in homes and businesses.
And look, to that end, you love hockey, I love hockey, Eric loves hockey, Frank loves hockey here on this crew, and I know we're not the only ones, but you know, we're the first guys I think of as the true hockey-loving fans. That being said, tomorrow, it's like part 2 of the groundhog seeing his shadow, or however you may want to phrase it. Pitchers and catchers report to Florida.
Well,
and Arizona.
Some reported today.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about particular baseball teams.
Correct.
One of them being the 27-time world champion New York Yankees, and of course the defending National League champion New York Metropolitans. But nonetheless, pitchers and catchers, and to me, it's just a good sign. I love hockey. And look, the NHL plays right up until almost July 4th at this point. I mean, heck, think about it. We were in Terry Connor's rink last year for the big assist in shorts.
Correct.
On a hot night, we went to Terry Connor's and watched a fun hockey game,
I want to do that again.
And Pete, by the way, if you haven't seen it, Pete Paguaga, who was one of the great sports writers in this area, a guy that we've gotten to know pretty well, he got to skate in a Rangers kind of charity alumni game. I know I'm not phrasing it exactly, but they played it at Sono Ice House, and he wore a GoPro.
Yes, he did.
You've got to see the footage.
I haven't had a chance to. I cannot wait to see Pete's footage.
Follow him on Twitter. He's such a great guy. He'll be your Facebook friend, I'm sure. Not that I'm selling him out to be your Facebook friend, but go follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, he's got GoPro footage. We were talking GoPros because I've become an addict of the small wearable camera as well.
Third period underway, 1-0 Greenwich, 5 seconds gone by. David Voigt right down below us, Nick Bizzuto at the other end. As this is covered now by Voigt. Voigt covered it with the glove hand, kind of picked it up. The official said, okay, he picked it up, and then he put it right back down.
Yeah, you'd best wait for the whistle.
Oh, Rob, he mishandled that shot originally, too. A little nonchalant about it. Almost looked like he wasn't going to control it. Guys, also, I spoke with a couple of the Greenwich players and one of the assistant coaches right after the period. They were in high spirits. They were laughing about it. So hopefully they are able to handle the adversity here in between periods.
Frank, do you think there's any impact?
It'll be interesting to see. obviously they're off their feet. They weren't skating around, so you do regain your energy. But you like to be in the locker room. I was always a fan of being able to take off the upper half of your gear, just sort of sit there, get some fluids in you. We always had Gatorade, stuff like that. But I think right now they're riding high on emotion from this lead.
Rob, Frank's a coach. I'm a coach. Coaches are slaves to routine. You want your teams to have their routine. The routine's been broken. How do they react?
Very true. Back down into the Greenwich zone it goes. Now neutral zone ice. 1-0 the score. 13:58 to go in regulation. Top seed in the FCIAC on the line. Across the line goes Kirby. Kirby into the left circle. Spun back around by Greenwich. They look to take it back the other way. A 2-goal lead would be fantastic for the guys in red, white, and black. But the Blue Wave looking to answer. Spun back around. Here's Glassmeyer. Eddie Glassmeyer behind his own cage, takes a look through the circle, skating around Cardinals, gets out to neutral zone ice, sends it down the right wing. It'll pinball around the boards to the left wing side. Over there was Kirby for a moment, held in at the left point. Over there for the Blue Wave was Hunter Hazelton. A.J. Simonowski said to me between periods, how many Hazeltons are there? This is not the Marciano situation from New Canaan girls ice hockey, but nonetheless, there are 2 Hazeltons, Hunter and Herbie. 1-0 the score. Rolls around with Knowlton, and the defenseman back behind his own net now sends it across. Jake Kirby there, cross ice back to Knowlton. Knowlton out of his own end. Just lifts it. It'll bounce down, and it'll be grabbed, in fact, in the glove of Mr. Nick Bizzuto.
Surprised Bizzuto didn't fair catch that.
I thought he might for a moment, but that would be confusing things quite a bit. Across the line come the Cardinals. They send it back out. Always thinking football, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Congdon out to center. Gets away from Ben Brown. He gains it. Steps across the line. Sends it down into the left corner. 1-0 the score. 2.5 gone. Third period. Seeing what we're set up for here at the Darien Ice Rink. Here come the Cardinals in a 2-on-1. Across the line. Into the circle. And on net, Voigt holds on with the wrister out of the left circle. Coming from Ollie Fulton, the sophomore.
Owen Johnson Jr. was coming up mid-ice. There was help there for Fulton. He could have passed that off. Might have been a better angle. Took the long shot. That's what they had success with early against David Voigt.
Fulton skated across like a steam engine. Face off to the right side of Voigt.
Digging deep into the history book, huh?
Was going to be Cunningham for the draw. Now it's going to be McKinney and Romine. I just keep waiting for the magic words of Eric Gendron, who always tells me at such moments, you're the worst. Here's Romine off to the side. Now sprawling across is Bizzuto. It's a 1-0 game, third period, 12:07 remaining in regulation. Coming back are the Cardinals, getting out of their own zone, through the neutral zone, across the line, down the right wing. Wrister there from Cunningham. I'm sure, John, you remember that Casey Cunningham goal as well as I do. Back last year against Glastonbury in the state semis. Mullen into the right circle, now to the right wing, and out of the zone they go. That was at the Ingalls rink. And it was kind of cool a week or so ago. You know, many of these teams like doing these hype videos now, and we got a little note. Held in at the right point, Solger heads down to Bizzuto. We often, so many of these teams do these hype videos that they put together and put on YouTube and so on. Got a nice note from Greenwich Hockey saying, just wanted to let you know we used your call in our hype video of the Casey Cunningham overtime game winner last year.
That was a great finish. Overtime, so it's self-explanatory, it's expected, but it was an awesome night.
And you and I have seen some overtime games at the Ingalls rink. My goodness. Heading off into the left corner off the face-off with 11:20 to go in a 1-0 game. Rob Adams, John Kovach, Frank Granito with you here at the Darien Ice Rink. Knowlton comes across the line into the slot, and it's loose, goes down and pinballs around and comes back out of the zone. Knowlton brings it back into his own end. Besides us, Eric Gendron directing, A.J. Simonowski, Rocco Veluzzo, Bill Bloxham, Marty Hersom rounding out your crew on this Wednesday afternoon. Glassmeyer into the slot, pushes it off into the right corner. 10:50 to go. One penalty each so far today. Make that 2-1. Greenwich has 2 penalties. Darien has 1. That's what I meant to say. Down it goes in Voigt, and then a backhander and scoring! Michael Mosian took advantage, and Greenwich a big 2-0 lead.
Voigt lost the rebound for just a second. Mosian gets it on the back of the blade and shovels it in.
With Voigt sprawled down, Mosian had Long Island Sound to shoot into. 2-0 Red.
Take another look at this, Rob. There's the long shot. He tries to deflect it. It bounces out, and he's right there. Nothing Voigt can do.
And it's going to be the brother Mosian's on the goal. It will be number 19, Michael, getting the goal, and number 8, Alex, picking up the assist. And what a swing of events here for the Greenwich Cardinals, who had been under siege since about the 6-minute mark of the second period there.
2-0 Greenwich with 10:17 to go in regulation.
Yeah, watch for Darien to turn it up to 12 now in terms of the pressure.
And the question is Nick Bizzuto up to the task? Bizzuto has been good so far today. Across the line goes to Berardinis. The big blast got deflected off to the right side of Bizzuto. Goes behind the net, spun back around, and the Cardinals skating from top to bottom. Out to neutral zone ice. Scott Voigt there, the defenseman, backhands it down into the Greenwich end. 9:49 to go. 2-0 game. Greenwich with the lead here on the HAN network. Back behind the net in the Greenwich zone. They'll play it out near the point, and turning around to send it out of the zone was Cal McKinney. But the Blue Wave will keep the pressure on. Play it back into neutral zone ice. Cunningham colliding with Knowlton. Off to the sideboards, Romine, and now down into the Greenwich zone. They'll play it in the circle. Playing it back out to center. In fact, here they come with Cunningham. Gains the zone. Hunter Hazelton there. Sent down on net and into the glove of David Voigt. 9:17 to go. 2-0 Greenwich. By the way, you've got to give some love to Voigt's helmet as well.
Yes.
Looks sharp.
I like that. An igloo effect on that, it looks like.
Very nice. Face off to the right side of the young man wearing 33. And off the boards to the right wing side. Knowlton, and out of the zone it goes. Taken by Glassmeyer. He'll get across the line. Leave it for Kirby. Kirby on net and held on to by Bizzuto. 9:03 to go here. 2-0. Certainly, we mentioned baseball pitchers and catchers reporting. Just get you thinking about the spring season. We are aiming for an April 2nd first broadcast, unconfirmed. Just unconfirmed because we got to work out some of the infrastructure. We do that, I could tell you 11 o'clock the morning of April 2nd, a Saturday. If not, likely April 4th. But either way, very early start.
And we're doing golf when?
I'm hoping to do some golf, Frank. You help make the setup happen, and we'll go with it. But golf is on the docket as far as I'm concerned. Here come the Cardinals, right circle, sent into the slot, but it got away from Dunham.
Good back check by Knowlton to keep that pass from making its way to the middle.
I can tell you, as I suppose I get to call myself the head of the scheduling committee, that track and field, tennis, boys and girls, baseball, softball, boys and girls lacrosse, all among the things that we are looking at for the season. In other words, trying to cover all of it. Held in at the right point by Congdon. Down on net it goes, and it's loose and out into the slot. Turned right back around, and the Cardinals able to clear the zone. But, of course, we've got today's game to deal with, and then we've got a lot of playoff games between next Tuesday and March 5th. Icing, 7:51 to go, third period, 2-0 Greenwich.
Sloppy change and the sloppy headman that becomes an icing there, Frank.
Yeah, and you go back to that last sequence right before that. You almost feel like there's been about 4 or 5 times now this period where Bizzuto has made one save, and the rebound has just somehow been missed by about 4 people trying to swipe at it towards the net, and Greenwich has been able to just turn it and go the other way.
Face-off was to the left side of number 35 with the black numbers on the red field. Off to his right side. To the hash marks it goes, now left point. Sent all the way down by Voigt. Congdon will come over at the hash marks on the right circle. Along comes Hazelton behind the net, tangled up with Colin Kelly. Looking to center it for Romine. They do. It's on net and covered by Bizzuto. As we come up past the midway point of period number 3, 2-0 Greenwich.
I'm almost a little surprised that Darien hasn't had even more pressure and even more pace. Down 2-0. The clock not their friend right now.
Face off to the left side of Bizzuto. controlled by the Blue Wave. Knowlton through traffic, pushed along. Now on the right wing, now played back out of the zone. Comes down, and it's Greenwich with an opportunity on net. Second opportunity. Both tries saved by Voigt. Off to the side. There were two there. It was Dunham and Alex Mosian. Greenwich again will send it down and across the line. Off to the side. Waiting back behind the net was Voigt. He takes it. Now it's Mosian, and the one-timer put on net by Dunham, and the save made by Voigt. Back to play it is Prattley. Prattley cross ice with 6:47 to go. 2-0 Greenwich. Here's Kirby across the Greenwich line. Kirby sprawling on net. There's the opportunity, and they score. DeBaradinas makes it 2-1.
And what an individual effort there by Jake Kirby, fighting through several stick checks. A really smart shot. He hesitated. You could tell he thought about going upstairs first, trying to find a corner. Instead, gets the rebound, and DeBaradinas there to finally get the Blue Wave on the board, Rob.
It looked from this angle, Frank, like it was the long rebound again, hurting the goaltender.
Oh, there was just nothing that Bizzuto could do. That was a perfect shot, perfectly placed on the far pad. That's the only way he can kick it out. And a great job by DeBaradinas, crash into the net, having his stick down ready to finish.
Was the official DeBaradinas from Kirby?
That is the official.
All right, 8:21, time of the goal.
We'll take a look at that goal again. There's the initial save. There's DeBaradinas crashing in and just taps it in. He didn't really need to do much, just redirect it.
Have those big eyes and put it home. 6.5 to go. Now a one-goal game and new life for the Blue Wave. Down into the right corner it goes with Kelly. Around to the left wing side, held in by Scott Voigt. Plays it across. Congdon now right circle. Harry Congdon to the bottom of the circle. Puts it out and sends it across. Now Voigt again. Left boards rather. Blasting it from the left point. To the top of the right circle, Congdon. Rister comes across off the deflection. Down on net. Under siege right now is Bizzuto. And able to keep it in are the Blue Wave. Now able to clear it finally. All the way down to Voigt it goes. That is an icing with 5:54 to go.
Frank, in the moments after that Darien goal, it looks like Greenwich has collapsed its defense, almost fallen into a shell. And I got to think you keep doing what got you to leading Darien in the third period. Don't change what you're doing now. Thoughts?
Very tentative in their own zone right now. You got 5 guys sitting in front of the net. We like to call that all in the house right there. They've got to expand out, stop letting the points having a shooting gallery in their own zone. Just chip it high off the glass, continue to try to expand the rush.
Off to the right wing side it goes. Brown over there as well as Knowlton for the Blue Wave behind the net, trying to set it up out in front, and spinning it around was the Cardinals. They'll play it back to center. But it's DeBaradinas who cut it to 2-1 just a moment ago. Off to the left side, 5.5 remaining. See if things get fast and furious in a 2-1 game. Knowlton takes it at his own blue line, sends it across, waiting. Hunter Hazelton. Now Brown across the Greenwich line. To his left they go as they send it around the boards, and all the way down it comes to Voigt. 5:10 remaining. Hunter Hazelton plays it ahead. Going to his right, Collins. Collins in the right circle. Gets down behind the net. 4:58 to go. Coming back near the right point, held in by Kirby. But it's a Cardinal out of the corner, able to take it there and play it to center. But waiting to grab it was Scott Voigt. He sends it down the left wing side, 4:40 to go. David Voigt, a senior. Scott Voigt, hold on, he's a senior as well. To the right point, the whistle and the offside with 4.5 to go. FCIAC playoffs all getting started next week, and then, well, the girls first, ladies first as you say, and then right behind that come the boys. Be a long run of playoff games and exciting. Really looking forward to it. Back into the circle goes Scott Voigt. Scott Voigt does not wear the S period. He just has Voigt on the back of his sweater. David Voigt, however, says D Voigt on his. Just little things you pick up.
I don't know how you make that decision.
I don't know either. Congdon. I'd like to check both Hazeltons since they're both H's. This is covered up. by Nick Bizzuto. 4:02 to go, third period.
Speaking of sorry, Rob.
There you go. I see it right now. Herbie Hazelton skates out. No H. Hunter, however, has the H. Frank, down to you.
Well, I was going to say, speaking of Hazelton, that first line out on the ice for Darien, they have been all over Bizzuto the past few shifts, stretching back to the last period. Keep an eye on them as we come down the stretch here.
And there's the Hazelton with the H, trying to do the slap shot from the left point. Goes behind the net. Off into the left corner. 3:50 to go, third period. A 2-1 Greenwich Cardinal lead. Greenwich built a 2-0 lead in back of goals by McKinney and Mosian. Not to be confused, yes, those are the M&M boys. They send it across. Backhanded down. Comes down into the slot. Now out to the left point. Can they keep it onside? They do with Hunter Hazelton, who sends it down as he plays it off glass. Goes behind the net. Off to the right side of Bizzuto. He traps it with 3:28 to go.
They have not been down our way in some time, the Greenwich Cardinal.
Oh, that's for sure. See all these great sweaters that they have here. By the way, New Canaan wearing some sharp duds the other day against Xavier.
Oh, yeah,
look very much, the Blackhawk comparison is a good one.
I think it was our friend at CTHS Hockey.
Yes.
Who said that.
Along with, right. Yeah, he and Pete Paguaga were talking about it on Twitter.
That would be right. They were designed off the Blackhawk Winter Classic jersey.
And they're gorgeous. My gosh, those are beautiful.
They need to get rid of the names on the back.
I knew we were going to hear that eventually. Out to neutral zone ice it goes. Frank's still learning as a broadcaster. Across the line and doing a great job, by the way. This gets deflected back into the right corner. It's a stylistic thing. What can I tell you? We actually saw one of those sweaters hanging right outside Blue Line Sports here at the Darien Ice Rink. Beautiful look. To the side of the right circle, 2:47 to go. Held in by the Blue Wave, keeping the pressure on, spinning around, grabbed by Davey, and he's able to clear the zone. To the final 2:35 of regulation, 2-1, and Bizzuto will hold it.
And that's a big offensive zone face-off coming up now. Off a simple dump-in with Darien changing, that turns into an offensive zone draw.
I was really surprised he had a defenseman to either post that he didn't dish it off and let them clear.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Russell is too happy with that one. And Coach Russell has been all over the forwards right now trying to tell them, stay up on the points and make sure no matter what, we get it out at the blue line.
Face off to the right side of Nick Bizzuto with 2:30 to go now. 2-1 Greenwich. Doesn't have that fast and furious feel to it yet.
No, it doesn't. And the pace, I think, has actually slowed a bit, which surprises me. And on some of that, Greenwich getting in a shell.
Here come the Blue Wave. Scott Voigt now off to the left side. Can't help but think back to, Ingles Rink last year as it comes through the crease and into the right corner. Eric Gendron and I kept looking at each other going, where's the action? Spun back around by Voigt in the circle. This will go behind the net, left aside by David Voigt. 1:55 to go. 2-1 Greenwich. Martins for the Blue Wave, plays it out of his own zone. He grabs it again, sends it down. Blue Wave will go for a change. And it's a big one here with 1:45 remaining. And this comes down and a whistle for icing with 1:43 to play. It'll come back down into the Greenwich end.
There was icing. There was 15 men on the ice. There was just about everything going on.
Face off to the left side now of Nick Bizzuto.
Voigt high up at the hash marks. We might see him go to the bench real early on, especially with the way Darien has dominated time of possession this period.
He is way out.
He's taking a glance over toward Mac Budd and company.
Mac Budd's not looking back at him. I'm looking at the bench.
Voigt just hanging at the hash marks, now starts to retreat, and he needs to retreat because here comes Greenwich initially in a 3-on-2 as they send it down the right side to the final 90 seconds in a 2-1 game. Will this pace pick up? We will see in a moment. Taken back by Davey behind the net. Sends it across. Oh, it was a good chance there for JT Lawrence. However, we would have given Alex Presley credit for the goal. He's wearing Presley's number 1 uniform. Knowlton gets across the line. Sam Knowlton for the Wave, but it's chipped back out into the neutral zone and now into the Darien end with 1:07 remaining. Taken back in the neutral zone, but the Cardinals able to do something with it and almost get it across the line. Spinning back around, here's Kirby. Kirby heads down. Kirby blasted it, got deflected off a body. Staying alive, it's kept in by the Blue Wave. Backhanded down by Voigt. Goes into the left circle. Down to the final 48 with the net empty. Down it comes down the right wing. On comes an icing call with 43 seconds to go.
I believe Rob. Sorry, go ahead, Frank.
Well, I was going to say we'll probably see a timeout coming here from Darien, but what a play by Captain Casey Cunningham, stepping in front of the Jake Kirby shot, then having the presence of mind to get up and tie up a man looking to get the puck.
And there is the Darien timeout with 43.3 to go.
I was going to say exactly what Frank said. It was Casey Cunningham drops to both knees, point blank, takes the shot with his shin guards, and then continues to play and gets to clear.
Coffee break starts your day tomorrow morning, 11 o'clock, and that's not the only thing that takes place on Thursdays. With that, I have just put my bait on the line and brought in John Kovac.
So you want to know what's on Yankee Fisherman tomorrow?
That's kind of the way I was lining it up there for you, my friend.
We are going to give you a little bit of a preview of the Springfield Sportsman Show, and that's up on the grounds of the Big E Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I'll be there Sunday meeting people and hopefully taping some segments for future shows. We are also going to go out to the Naugatuck River and do some fly fishing for salmon with Ben Bellello, who's done some great presentations I've had the privilege of sitting at.
Speaking of fly fishing, when we all reconvene next Tuesday for basketball, do you know who we have to say happy birthday to?
Who?
A young man who turns 14 next Tuesday.
We gotta talk to him. I gotta get him out. You know whose birthday it is today? And you'll never will.
No, I never will. Who?
The guy who taught him how to fly cast up at Orvis.
Oh, what a good day.
Pete Kutzer's
Pete's very, very nice guy. Did a really great job teaching my son Sean, who turns 14 next Tuesday. And yes, Daddy feels older every day. Off the face-off, it comes down and loose. Turned right back around by Knowlton. 35 seconds to go. 2-1. Greenwich on top. Knowlton across the Greenwich line. Sends it down toward the left circle. Hazelton there. There's Kirby as well. Left wing side. On comes Mosey in for Greenwich. They just keep it trapped in the corner and out of the zone. And an icing off to the side of the net, well wide with 20.5 remaining. Still opportunities for the Blue Wave.
Plenty of opportunities, and I think Greenwich will take the icing and catch their breath. That was a frenetic 15 seconds or so along the boards.
Guys, interesting that Glassmeyer's out taking the draw with this first line and Kirby without Romine not going here.
And that is indeed the case. To the right side of Nick Bizzuto with 20.5 to go. The face-off win for the Blue Wave. They'll send it across into the right circle. Waiting there, Hazelton with 14 to go. Out of the zone it goes with 10 to play. The Blue Wave got to get desperate now. They get it across the line. Hazelton with 6. Right circle, Hazelton with 4. Into the right corner. They're going to get it back to the right point, and the Greenwich Cardinals are going to win this one 2-1. You can see it by the reaction. Nick Bizzuto began to jump on his skates. This is a game the Greenwich Cardinals absolutely felt they had to have. He said that to me, in fact, before the game, and it's a game that they needed for a lot of reasons. They get the win, 2-1.
When a team appears to have your number, like Darien had for Greenwich, and you finally get that monkey off your back, the relief is so much. It's ecstasy to have that monkey off your back finally. That's where Greenwich is right now. And there was one of the Darien players went down, face down, and slid. I was kind of surprised at that reaction, that it would be that devastating, because they're not going to drop that far.
Frank is going to try to grab us a guest, and we will put a wrap on this one. The final score in a good one at the Darien Ice Rink. The Greenwich Cardinals 2. The Darien Blue Wave 1. We come back to the DIR. We will hang on at the DIR. He's got his guest, in fact, so I'm going to hang on here. I saw you grab Nick Bizzuto, so as soon as we're ready, I'll send it down to Frank. They are looking. I am waiting. We have got the indication. Frank, it's all yours.
Rob, I am joined by Nick Bizzuto. Nick, unbelievable game tonight. What was going right for you in there?
We knew coming into the game, like, they're a fast team. We knew had to play some tough D. We every opportunity we had to get the puck out. We knew the offense would come eventually, and it happened.
Yeah, you talked a little about your frustrations with the offense not being able to score. How comfortable for you once you saw you guys up 2-0 in this game?
It's great because I knew one goal, okay. We knew we were going to have to push, and we made it happen.
This is the first time you guys have beat them in about 4 tries now. You lost in FCIAC and States. What does this mean to this locker room for you guys?
Oh, it's a huge confidence boost. Now we know we can beat anyone in the state. Coming into the playoffs soon, it's going to be unbelievable.
You guys have now set yourselves up to control your fate as the #1 seed in the FCIAC. What does that mean to this team?
It's great. Now knowing that we're going to get a bye with at least a tie to either Richfield or Wilton. So it's great.
Nick, thanks again. Congrats on the big win. We'll see you in the postseason, man.
Thank you.
Rob, back to you.
Frank, thank you very much. Congrats to Nick Pizzuto and the Greenwich Cardinals as well. The final score from the Darien Ice Rink, Greenwich 2, Darien 1. Now we come back after we take a break. You're watching the FCIAC on the HAN Network.
When you experience a sports injury, you want to get better and fast. Coastal Ortho Express gives you direct access to orthopedic care quickly. Their physicians are fellowship trained in sports medicine at world-class universities and are also team doctors for area football teams. For specialized personal care of sports injuries, go to Coastal Ortho Express. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building, 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or coastalorthoexpress.com. Coastal Orthopedics, keeping you on the move.
Here at the Darien Sports Shop, we are very excited about our newly redesigned men's department. Gentlemen, if you're shopping for work, weekend, or wedding, we've got the latest styles and trends inside our spacious new department just for you. We have vast selections from Peter Millar, Vineyard Vines, Johnny O, Duckhead, Barber, and so much more. And you can even walk out of the store in the new Wolverine 1,000-mile men's boot. Conveniently located with free and easy parking at 1127 Post Road, Darien, Connecticut, or shop us online at dariensport.com.
It's the new year. The to-do list is long and it's easy to feel pulled in many directions at once. Your professional personal shoppers at Walter Stewart's are ready to check groceries off your list by shopping for you. Save extra time this year and spend it doing more important things. Great food and wine delivered to your home with the same-day service. Shop Stewart's online at stewartsmarket.com.
Watching the HAN Network, and you're not alone. Nearly 500,000 viewers enjoyed our broadcasts in the first 5 months. Advertise on the network that reaches Fairfield County, Connecticut's most engaged audience. Contact Jessica Murrin, Advertising Director, at 203-273-7312 or email jessica@han.network.
Back at the Darien Ice Rink, Rob Adams, John Kovach, Frank Granito, our entire team. 2-1 final score, Greenwich with the win. And for Greenwich, they improve now to 14-4, 8-1 in the FCIAC. For Darien, now 14-3 and 8-1 in the FCIAC. John.
As I said, and I don't know if Frank heard me because he was on the ice, but when you have a team that has been your nemesis that you just can't get past, and you finally get past them, you react like Greenwich just reacted here on the ice at the Darien Ice Rink.
Oh, and it's totally a justified reaction, too. It really is, Steve Young having teammates take the monkey off the back kind of feeling right there.
Absolutely.
And I can remember my junior year, we beat Ridgefield in the FCIAC semifinals for the first time in 9 tries, and you would have thought we won the whole tournament. It is a surreal feeling, and it's big for your confidence. You're right.
It really is, and it's a confidence booster. You see where they come from this, because I think you could see in Nick Pizzuto, as you talk to him, exuding a little more confidence. Some of the doubt that is natural for an athlete is erased.
No, and I think even if they lose this game tonight, they were still able to compete with Darien and would have been able to do this in the FCIAC or States. But the fact that you get it done beforehand and now you know this is anyone's game. The next time we see these teams, it's a rubber match, and how exciting is that going to be should they get that far?
It will be a lot of fun, knock on glass or anything else, if they can get that far. Of course, that would be in the FCIAC tournament and likely based on seedings in the FCIAC championship, although we will find out for sure. For the Blue Wave, and, this is something to think about. Yes, they're on a one-game winning streak off a forfeit, but on ice action, they're on a 2-game losing streak. Now, I know that's a stretch, but their last 2 games they were on the ice, they've lost. What do you see with them?
Well, tonight, with the case with Bosco, first of all, that's a very, very good team, and that's a tough game to lose, but they played them well, and I think they won't worry about that one too much. As for tonight's game, it's got to be frustrating in the locker room right now with how many shots you threw at Bizzuto, how many crazy bounces that he was able to recover and stop, and you just couldn't find the back of the net more than once, and not before there was only 6 minutes left in the game.
I have a tweet that's worth reading just for the fun of it that we're all having a good laugh about from our buddy Sean Patrick Boley.
And it's true.
And this is the truth. I mean, that's all there is to it. Darien lost to Greenwich, which lost to Notre Dame of West Haven, which lost to Ridgefield, which lost to St. Joseph, which lost to Fairfield, which lost to Stamford.
Thus, as Pete says...
So Stamford West Hill, according to Pete Paglaga, is the number 1 team. Problem solved. There's that.
Places like the old days with the college football polls, isn't it? Where you can Appalachian State should be number 1 because they beat Michigan.
The writers and all of us having a good laugh as well. 2-1 the final score. McKinney got the scoring started from Davey and Kelly at 7:42 of the second period. That made it 1-0 Greenwich. Then Michael Mosian at 4:20 of the third from Alex Mosian made it 2-0. And finally, De Berardinis at 8:21 of the third off an assist from Kirby, 2-1. Excuse me, and that is your final score. Just a very good hockey game. I'm hoping for the rubber match.
Me too. Now, in all seriousness, though, based on Sean Patrick's tweet there, you've got the Game Time CT New Haven Register poll in which Darien came in number 1, Greenwich 4. Where do the votes land after this? Because you essentially just shattered it. I mean, it may as well be the 16 candidate Republican field right now. Where do the votes go?
Darien is still ahead handily in the true state rankings and points. In my honest opinion, similar to like what we're seeing in college basketball right now, I think you could split them both as number 1. And you look at this game, David Voigt, who's arguably been the most underrated and possibly the best goalie in the state, if not one of them, had a tough game tonight. Just didn't look confident, didn't look like himself.
Hey, it's 2 long rebounds hurt him. 2 long rebounds cost this game.
I totally agree with you guys. Great stuff today. Look forward to next week. We will be very busy, as I've mentioned, with a lot of playoff action. Boys basketball, girls hockey, boys hockey. We will have all the semis in each one of those sports I just mentioned, all the championships in each one of those sports I just mentioned, as well as the quarterfinal playdowns in boys ice hockey as well. It's going to be a great run. It's going to be a fun run. Of course, I'd love to do the quarters as well, but we can't do everything. We've got to be out of town. Plus, some of them conflict with each other, so we just can't get to everything yet. We'll figure out how to clone ourselves. It will come. But this was great stuff today. Fun game to watch. 2-1 the final score. Eric Gendron's on the music, my friend. That will do it from the Darien Ice Rink. One more time, your final score. The Greenwich Cardinals 2 and the Darien Blue Wave 1 for Greenwich. 14-4 now on the year. 8-1 in the FCIAC. For Darien, 14-3. 8-1 in the conference. Coffee break gets your day started tomorrow. Arts and leisure as well. And Yankee Fisherman with John Kovach. Look forward to that. For our entire crew here at the Darien Ice Rink, Marty Hersom, Bill Bloxham, Rocco Veluzzo, a shout out to Dave Stewart because he's just Dave Stewart, AJ Simonowski, Eric Gendron directing, Frank Granito, John Kovach. For all of them, I'm Rob Adams. Coffee break, 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. But for now, from the Darien Ice Rink, Greenwich 2, Darien 1. Good night, everyone. You've been watching the FCIAC on the HAN Network. The preceding has been a presentation of the HAN Network, the leader for local news, sports, and entertainment in Fairfield and Westchester counties.